Let's take a quick look at the top 20 most expensive Lincoln pennies sold at auction in 2025. We can kick things off with a superstar in the series, and the fact that this coin is only the first on the list should tell you a little something about what is to come. The 1969S double-die obverse Lincoln cent is easily one of the most popular and sought-after varieties in the series, with its bold doubling on the obverse letters and date, not to mention the coin's fantastic grade of MS64 red from PCGS. It rocketed to the closing price at auction of $70,312 in September. Like most of the silver coins as well from 1921, the general strike quality is not exactly what you would hope from the Philadelphia Mint, especially when compared to the standard set in just the preceding years. All the same, when you have the top 1 coin, in this case graded as MS66 plus red from PCGS, it becomes destined for an advanced registry set, and with that honor, a final price at auction of $70,312 was achieved in June. The preponderance of 1918 D cents was struck from worn and severely overused dies, explaining the concentration of mint state coins appearing in the MS64 level or below in the population report. We now see a rare exemption to that generalization here. With a sharp strike and near unmatched details for the date, there is no doubt that this coin earned its MS66 plus red grade from PCGS. That saw a closing price of $70,312 in a June auction by Great Collections. This 1935 wheat cent is the very definition of a conditional rarity, a coin with a large mintage easily obtainable in lower grades. But at the very top of the population report, only 5 grading events are listed at the MS68 plus red level, with no coins known in any finer grades, including this example, which was sold at auction in January by Heritage for the sum of $84,000. The 1919 D is one of those issues that can be very deceptive on a purely surface level evaluation, but if you desire a truly exceptional coin, it quickly becomes a frustratingly obtuse challenge, as most coins show weak details or uneven strike quality, oftentimes even paired with substandard planchet stock that, well, causes problems as well. But this coin is largely free from all such concerns. Graded as PCGS MS67 plus red, it sold at auction in February for no less than $87,187. It should come as little surprise to the seasoned collector that a 1914 cent is on this list, but the fact that it is the 1914S and not a Denver Mint coin might raise a few eyebrows. But the fact is that the 1914S has always been a semi-key date, and in higher grades it is known to be a conditional rarity to boot, perfectly exemplified by this MS66 red example from PCGS that was sold at auction in November for the sum of $98,437. The Denver Mint, and to, well, a much lesser degree the San Francisco Mint, produced fairly poorly struck coins, especially pennies, in 1925, a result of overextending the useful lifespan of the working dies, and setting their striking distance too far apart. Again, to try and squeeze extra usage out of these tools. Overall, this example is not entirely representative of the typical 1925 D cent, a fact that led to a grade of MS66 plus red from PCGS, and a price at auction of $100,699 in September. Economy seems to have been the order of the day at the Denver and San Francisco mints during 1925, as overall strike quality was generally poor at these facilities. Sadly, a large quantity of mint correspondence and records were destroyed around 1978 in an equally misguided and futile effort to save costs, taking with it the clues as to why such results were achieved in those years. This coin managed to survive in an unusually high grade of MS65 red for the issue and was sold at auction in August for $112,500. The 1928 S cent represents a strange dichotomy for the modern collector, with a low-ish mintage of 17,266,000 coins. It was widely hoarded in the 1930s to 1950s, when it could still be had in pocket change. As a result, it's not nearly as rare as the mintage figure would initially suggest, in lower grades at least. But in mint state, especially with red luster, it is even more scarce than you might suspect. This example is a PCGS MS66 red coin, which was sold at auction in August for $112,500. One of the most storied and sought after coins in the series is the 1909 S VDB Lincoln Cent, one of only 484,000 coins struck before the order was given to remove the VDB initials from the design, and until very recently it was the lowest mintage coin in the series as a result. This coin has it all: rarity, status, and unmatched eye appeal. The grade of MS67 red ensures a closing price at auction of no less than $115,312 in December of 2025. One of only two proof coins to make this list this year is this 1915 matte proof example of the Lincoln Cent. The matte proof coins was a short-lived experiment that lasted less than a decade at the US Mint and was deeply unpopular with contemporary collectors. But today, the curious finish has become an oddity for modern collectors, and high-grade examples are greatly prized, like this Proof 68 red example that managed to raise $118,125 through fierce bidding in June at Great Collections. The 1911 cent typically survives with uneven color and suffers from carbon spots if a red example can be secured. This coin, the sole finest known of the issue, does not have any such issues and survives today over a century later with full original red mint luster. Graded by PCGS as MS68 red, this laudable coin saw heavy competition when bidding reached $134,437 in Great Collections' May 18th auction. Then we have the first of no fewer than 4 similar examples, where the penny was minted on the wrong type of planchet for that year. This 1944 cent seems like a normal steel cent until you remember that the steel pennies were only supposed to exist for 1943 and not 1944. An eye-catching example tied for the finest known for the Philadelphia Mint. At a grade of MS64 from PCGS, it was sold at auction in January by Heritage Auctions for $168,000. One of the most intriguing coins in the series is the 1922 No-D wheat cent, a coin that was never supposed to exist, created by accident when a mint employee tried to erase clash marks and erased the mint mark by mistake. This astonishing example is a rare survivor with red mint luster, graded by PCGS as MS64 red. It was sold in March for the amount of $241,875. This 1909 VDB matte-proof Lincoln cent is the second and last proof coin on this list. It is also the rarest of the matte-proof pennies today, although why that is the case is not entirely clear, as it does not have the lowest mintage figure at 1,194 coins struck. This beautiful example is graded as Proof 67 plus red and was sold at auction by Great Collections in June for an impressive $275,625. And now for one of, no, I think I would probably say the most famous error coin of all time, the 1943 wheat cent, struck on a copper, or more accurately a bronze, planchet, a coin minted accidentally in a year that all Lincoln cents were supposed to be struck from zinc-coated steel planchets instead. In April, an example graded as AU55 by PCGS was sold at auction by Heritage for $312, while in January, another coin, also graded as AU55, though it was a distinct example, was also sold, but this time for $264,000 instead. Even though it might not be one of the most expensive coins, it definitely is one of the most famous coins on this list. The 1955 double-die obverse Lincoln cent is a coin that simply stands out from the crowd, with its signature bold doubling to every single design element on the obverse of the coin. There is no confusing it for any other coin, and it is easy to understand why this variety is so tremendously popular. This spectacular example is one of the finest known for the type, at a grade of MS65 plus red from PCGS. It was sold by Great Collections in February for $320,625. And so, the final transitional error, or wrong planchet or wrong metal error coin for this list is this 1944 steel penny, but this time hailing from the San Francisco Mint instead. And added to that is the sole finest S-Mint steel cent known to exist. Graded by PCGS as MS66, this coin was once a part of the Bob Simpson collection, and here it was sold for a record-setting $490,500 at auction in January. And as you might have expected, the most expensive Lincoln cent sold in 2025 is, in fact, not a single coin, but a set of 3 coins. The final set of Omega pennies, featuring a Denver Mint Omega cent, a Philadelphia Mint Omega penny, and a special gold Omega cent, all combined with the special coin dies used to strike these exact same coins. The set number 232, was sold in December by Stax Bowers for $800,000, with the entire special auction featuring all 232 sets of these 3 coins bringing in $16.7 million in total. Subscribe to WNN, and if you want, you can have a look at the most expensive penny sold in 2024. You can watch that video right here next. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.